mean? For us, it means early access, education, community connections, and wraparound support. We believe these approaches will lead to preventable illness, successful treatment, improved quality of life, and definitely a decrease in suicides. During today's program, we'll hear from a couple of individuals who have been impacted by mental illness. Throughout the program today, we will be using the chat feature. So I would like for everyone to take a moment and open up their chat feature. If you look on the bottom of your computer, you will see the chat feature that you can open on the side of your screen. And a couple of folks have already started chatting. So we appreciate that. That's going to take a conversation on its own during the breakfast, and we really encourage that. You can use the chat feature to, one, say what you love about NAMI Valley of the Sun. You can also use the chat feature to pledge an amount that you'd like to donate. And one of our board directors or staff will follow up with you then to collect payment afterwards. So right now is your opportunity to either pledge an amount you'd like to donate or share what you love about NAMI Valley of the Sun, or of course connect with folks and colleagues and let folks know that you're happy to see them. If you're using your phone or your iPad, on the bottom you'll see 3 dots which will allow you to select more. In that more option, a chat feature will come up. Also, I wanted to add that there's a couple different ways for you to view your screen. One is a gallery view where you can see many of us, or one option is a speaker view. So as we have the speaker speaking, you will see our face larger on the screen. So you have that option to move that around if you'd like. It's important to mention that all attendees are on mute. I think we have 99 folks on the call with us this morning, on the video with us this morning, and we have about 160 that are registered. So more and more people will be coming in. So unfortunately, it can't be an interactive morning, but we can definitely follow up on any questions that you have. If you want to ask us questions, please send that to us over the chat feature, and we will certainly follow up with you. I like to pause now and sort of talk about the climate that we're in right now and how mental health is more important than it's ever been before. We know that 1 in 4 of us live with a mental illness, and many more of us are struggling during these very unprecedented and scary times. So I think it's important for us all to, whether we're still working, whether we're not working, to think about the things that we can all do as individuals to increase our mental health. So a couple things: stick to a routine, whatever that routine looks like for you. If before COVID it was getting up and taking a shower, eating some breakfast, get up and do that. Keep that routine. Put some makeup on if that's what you're used to and that makes you feel energized. For me, sometimes it's just making sure I brush my teeth in the morning before I start chasing after my kids. But do something that you're used to. Get outside. That's so important. That vitamin D is crucial. The exercise helps with both our mental and our physical health. I know I love seeing families out there riding their bikes, walking. It's so important to do that. There's a reason they're doing that. Get educated. Now's your time to catch up on your continuing education credits, learn a new language, get a specialty certificate. And now we have a little extra time to do something that we wanted to do. Expand your list of hobbies, learn a new trade, plant a garden, catch up on those household projects. Stay connected. Rekindle old friendships, increase the support network, or get reconnected. So often we forget about, or we lose connection with those folks that we haven't seen or heard from in a while. Now's a really opportunity to get reconnected. Talk about it. We say this over and over again. We want to be able to talk about what we're dealing with. We are not dealing with this alone, and we need to be able to connect with others and talk about what we're feeling. Whether it's with a member of clergy, a trusted advisor, a friend, a colleague, or of course NAMI. Please reach out to folks and let them know that, that we understand we're not alone and we want to stay connected. Create a healthy environment. Take a break and unwind. If you're at your computer all day working, make sure you get up, make sure you stretch, make sure you take a walk around your house a few times throughout the day. You really need that time to unwind. It's so easy for us to try all the different types of wines that are in her home or clean out our pantry, but we want to make sure that we're also really trying to be healthy during this time to really keep our mental health in check. Engage in mindful activities. Limit worrying by focusing on what you're grateful for. Give back Volunteer at your church's food pantry, adopt a pet, give blood, find a way that you can help during this time of crisis. And then last but not least, really take advantage of the resources. We have so many resources available here in the state of Arizona that we really want to make sure that people use those resources. We have the Warm Line, we have the NAMI Helpline, and many others. So with that being said, I now have the pleasure of introducing our Masters of Ceremony for the day, our board president, Lenore Barrientos. Lenore?
Good morning. Thank you for all of you for joining us today. I just saw over 100 people. Very cool. Today, we are creating community connections and providing hope. Join us as we expand our reach, save lives, and improve the quality of life for those in the Phoenix metro area. We are united as a NAMI family and community. NAMI Valley of the Sun is the Maricopa County affiliate of NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization. We're dedicated to building better lives for the millions of Americans affected by mental illness. NAMI advocates for access to services, treatment supports, and research, and is steadfast in our commitment to raising awareness and building a community of hope for all of those in need. NAMI Valley of the Sun provides education programs at no cost throughout Maricopa County. We provide family programs, peer programs, programs for schools, support groups, veterans and their families, and many, many more. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge our incredible board of directors. I'm very privileged and very proud to be the board president. I call them my kids because I'm old enough to be almost all of their mothers. And they have done such an incredibly great job of getting our sponsors this year and moving this breakfast to a position to be able to do the things that we want to do for more people in our community. So thank you so much, board. I love you. Also, I could never speak for NAMI Valley of the Sun without recognizing our incredible, incredible volunteers. Our volunteers are the heart and soul of everything that we do. They are so hardworking, they are so giving and caring, and we'd be nothing without them. So thank you, volunteers. I would also like to, at this time, recognize all of you who have joined us, who work in behavioral health. We want to say from NAMI, thank you for your service and what you do for those living with mental health issues. Also, I just could not go without saying today, a kudos to my good friend, Paige Rogers. Paige Rogers is a stalwart, loyal NAMI volunteer, and she's a former board president. This is the 4th year that we've had this breakfast event, and in 2016, Paige was the mastermind of what has kind of become for us a signature and very much looked forward to event. So Paige, so much credit to you, girl. We've taken your plan, we've moved it to a virtual platform. That's different for us, but we're doing the best we can. At this time, I would like to thank all of our sponsors who made this event possible. I want to acknowledge each sponsor that generously donated. This year's sponsors include silver sponsors, Neurocrine Biosciences Incorporated, Community Bridges. Bronze sponsors, Crisis Response Network, Janssen Neuroscience, Magellan Healthcare, Mercy Care, and Kent Butler. Virtual table sponsors, Care First Plan Health Arizona, Community Connections Consulting, iTether, UMB, Resilient Health, Stephen and Kelly Lunam family, Christine Pearson, and in memory of Mark and Carol Maley. After the program, we will be sending out website links to all of our sponsors, so check them out. Now, I'd like to introduce one of our silver sponsors, Thomas Hafner from Neurocrine Biosciences.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Quickly, I might put my Neurocrine back up here because as a representative of Neurocrine, that's why I'm here. But more importantly, I just wanted to say that Neurocrine is a bioscience company that specializes in movement disorders, really. So sometimes when that can happen, we're there to try to help the healthcare providers deal with that. We provide education for behavioral health and movement disorders within the community mental health and behavioral health centers and caregivers. But more importantly, from my heart, and I'll get rid of this, I am thankful for everyone that made this happen. Christina, Lenore, being flexible enough to pull this off in a virtual environment, which, man, if somebody would have told me 6 weeks ago, I'd be a semi-expert on doing virtual meetings. No way, man. This is not my bailiwick at all. But here I am, and I'm thankful for everyone that made it here and is supporting NAMI with, and the caregivers that are out there, healthcare providers and professionals that are still doing face-to-face. I mean, they're the heroes out there. And the people that are seeking treatment. I mean, good for you, man. Yeah, I know it's a little strange having to talk to somebody through a telephone. I get to do it tomorrow, or over a video screen. It's a little strange, but that's the environment we're in, and there's still people out there face to face every day and risking their lives, really. So good job, everyone, for being here, and I am very thankful to be part of this organization in any way or anything that I can do to help support the organization or other types of behavioral health centers that need some educational support, what have you. I will be there the best that I can tell you that. So thank you again for being here, and that's all. This is about you guys, really, not me.
Thank you so much, Thomas. We really appreciate your contribution to our event this morning. Next, I'm pleased to introduce our other silver sponsor, Barb Lange with Community Bridges.
Good morning. How's everybody doing this morning? Well, I hope. And I would just echo what Thomas had said. I'm so appreciative of you all being here. Community Bridges is an integrated behavioral health provider across the state of Arizona. And we are so grateful that NAMI partners with us and that NAMI provides resources and education across the state. At Community Bridges, my main role or job is I oversee quality management and compliance. And with that, my focus is really to manage risk. And I really want to talk about today the importance of managing risk. Risk for ourselves, risk for our loved ones, and there's no greater risk than the lack of self-care. It's so important, and it really sends a message that you all are here today to make sure yourselves and your loved ones address any mental health issues, and that we help rid Arizona and beyond of stigma. So please stand up with me, speak up. Let's tackle the stigma that's out there, and we're better together. Recovery is possible. You all take care, keep coming back. NAMI is near and dear to my heart. I'm on my 3rd term now with the NAMI Arizona board, and I'm so grateful that you're here for me, my family, and my loved ones. Take care and stay well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barb, for your message. Very powerful, very, very accurate, and you're an example of the kinds of people that are involved in NAMI. And it's one of the reasons that, one of the best reasons for being involved. I believe Christina is going to give us a little update on our fundraiser in a minute, but I have something I want to tell everybody today that we're very, very excited about and very thrilled. I'm going to announce that we have an anonymous donor who will match up to $10,000 in donations from today's program. Wow, that's a challenge for you. Get after it, folks. So Christina, where are we at this point with our donations so far?
Okay, so I should have brought a drum or something in with me here, but the table will do. So as of right now, we're at $5,450 already raised this morning. So we're getting very close to our $10,000 goal.
Oh, thank you, thank you. You definitely are supporting us in this fundraising goal. This is going to allow us to move our programs to a virtual platform, which we have to do in today's day. Your support is needed, and we thank you for it. Also, we want you to know that we have been approved as a qualifying charitable organization. This means Arizona allows you to contribute $400 individually or $800 jointly to NAMI Valley of the Sun and receive a dollar for dollar tax credit for your 2020 tax liability. This way, you can give and get your money back. Please support us as we move our programs to a virtual platform. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Greg Stanton, Congressman Greg Stanton. We're going to hear from him. He's the former Phoenix mayor, and we'll show you his video at this time. He wanted to be with us in person, but he's back in Washington, and so we'll hear from him in this recording.
Stanton. Welcome to today's Giving Breakfast supporting NAMI Valley of the Sun. We're recording this video in front of my home in Phoenix, but by the time we have this important breakfast, I'll be in Washington voting on an important relief package to support American families and small business. Look, I love and respect the work of NAMI. Thank you to Lenore Barrientos and the entire NAMI Valley of the Sun family. The work you do makes a huge difference. I know the people in today's Giving Breakfast, you're going to dig deep and financially support NAMI in a big way. The work they do supports all of us, because all of us, either ourselves have issues with mental illness, we have loved ones, friends, work colleagues, and the work that they do, supporting other nonprofits that are engaged in direct services, performing direct services themselves, and advocating at the federal level and at the state level to make sure that mental illness is treated with parity with any other illness, because we have to really cure the whole person. So I love and respect the work that NAMI does. I'm glad to participate in today's breakfast, at least virtually. Let's hope and pray we can get through this pandemic as quickly as possible. But in the meantime, the work of NAMI is more important now than ever. Thanks, NAMI, and let's support them in a big way today.
Thank you, Congressman Greg Stanton. I love that you love NAMI. And I so appreciate hearing your remarks about parity, because we know that this is critical, and we want to work on that on our local, state, and national levels to make that a reality. At this time, I'm really thrilled to introduce our new full-time, this is the first time that NAMI has had a full-time executive director, Letitia Lebrecq. She's evidence of our affiliate growing and being able to reach more of our community.
Good morning. Good morning to all of our supporters and our champions and our advocates of NAMI Valley of the Sun. I am your new executive director. My name is Letitia Lebrecq, and I am mainly here because of people like you. You are the ones who believed in NAMI's mission to have somebody as a dedicated advocate and somebody who would spend a full-time at bringing access to services, access to treatment, and behavioral health information within the community. I've been in the behavioral health field for about 24 years. I have managed a 500-person government agency to a small 3-people startup behavioral health clinic, and all giving me valuable lessons that have led me back to NAMI Valley of the Sun. which ironically, I actually did a research paper on NAMI when I was a grad student, probably about 23 years old at ASU. Go Devils! And you know, I met somebody who was incredible. This woman was so helpful, so resourceful, and most of all, so hopeful. And she wanted to make sure that I knew just how incredibly important the services that NAMI gave to families, that they were a vital part of their mental health and their support system and their survival. And I remember thinking, I want to work in a place just like this. Well, my vocational endeavors kind of led me in that general direction, but it took another 20 plus years to actually get back here. And it really does feel like getting back to being home. And ironically, the same feeling prevails today than when I was 23 years old. NAMI is a place of hope. It is a place of strength. It is a place of support. It's a place, it's a non-judgmental environment where everybody is kind of working towards the same common goal. And it's been a long time since I've been in such an incredibly supportive environment. So the growth of NAMI was not just hiring me as a full-time executive director, it was also about program expansion. And some of our backbone programs like Family to Family, Ending the Silence, In Our Own Voice, NAMI Connections, NAMI support groups, all those are hugely popular, very sought after, and we were registering people increasingly every month. And like you, our lives have changed tremendously over the last few months. And we've really had to think quickly on our feet. And I am so incredibly proud of our staff and our volunteers who rolled up their sleeve, put caution to the wind, put their digital fears aside to do something like we're doing today, which is to bring online programming versus that in-person. An in-person programming that NAMI has developed is stellar. I mean, it was very deeply rooted. It was working like a well-oiled machine, and we were actually looked to from several other affiliates on how well our in-person classes were going. But that just pays tribute to who these people are that we were able to revamp. And these volunteers that Lenore spoke of are the most incredible people I have ever met in my life. They are so energetic. They could probably power this entire Zoom video with their initiative and energy. They never skipped a beat, and I have received so many calls of what do we need to do? How do we make this happen? I'm ready, just tell me when you want me in. So we actually have a brand new speaker series that's starting next week, and we're going to bring you fantastic topics like distance learning, the pros and cons of going to school online, how to navigate applying for the SMI application process, how to, resources for people going through trauma, a toolkit for stress reduction, a session on mindfulness and health and wellness. And so we're really excited to be able to bring you new programming in a platform that we're probably going to be doing for some time, and if not, at least a mixture of in-person and online platforms. I want to really just tell you how excited and how proud I am to be in this position. I do not take this position lightly. I will work really hard for you. I will work hard for your family members, for your loved ones, to make sure that they receive the same stellar quality programming that NAMI has always put together. But I tell you, moving from an in-person platform to a virtual, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of organization. Much of you are aware of that. It takes a lot of training. It took the purchase of this platform, and it takes money. And quite frankly, we kind of need all of those things. So I really feel that with the efforts that NAMI's putting together, our volunteers, and those of you that are on this call today, this video that made the time to do it, together we can make it happen so that we can continue to bring you everything that you deserve that NAMI can offer. So thank you, and I'm glad to be home.
Thank you so much, Letitia. You can see why I'm so happy and thrilled to have her on our team. And all I can say is, watch out, world, because we're on the way. She's definitely evidence of our affiliate growing And we know we're going to be able to reach out more to more of our community and in a different way. At this time, we're very privileged to hear from Arielle Briscoe, a peer, as she shares how mental illness has impacted her life.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. It's so beautiful to see so many people here for the cause. Good morning to everybody. My name is Arielle Briscoe. A little bit about me. I'm 30 years old, from Phoenix, born and raised, and I work as a manager at a local coffee shop. And I'm also a part-time student at community college, just working to get my prerequisites done and then get my degree. So my journey in the mental health world really started the summer after high school. Prior to that, I grew up feeling really stable, never had any weird, out of place emotions. But during that summer, I just started feeling general anxiety. So especially at night, I would have a hard time falling asleep. My thoughts would be racing. I would just have this uncomfortable, nervous energy. And so what I would do is I would get in my car and just drive around for like hours and hours, not really with anywhere to go. But that was sort of my space to feel all of that. So it was during that summer, I had my first manic episode, and I had been driving at like 2 or 3 in the morning. And I got it in my head that what I needed to do was to paint myself gold and sit on my ex-boyfriend's lawn. And I didn't know where I was going to find gold body paint at 2 in the morning. So I went home to my parents where I was living at the time, and I shaved my head and went to sleep and felt fine. And that was the first red flag for my family that something was maybe wrong. Following that summer, I started going to ASU, and I had a full ride scholarship, and I dropped out after the first semester because I believed that I was the reincarnate of Joan of Arc. So I knew I was meant for this greatness, and I knew I wasn't going to find it in school, and I wasn't going to any of my classes anyway. So I just dropped out. So I'm diagnosed with type 1 bipolar disorder. And what that looks like for me is that my moods are at extremes. So when I feel good and I'm manic, it's this kind of intense, overwhelming, euphoric happiness where I feel like I have all the answers. And that can cause me to be really reckless and impulsive. I make decisions without thinking about anything after. I put myself in dangerous situations because I feel unstoppable. And I hurt a lot of people around me because I'm just chasing after that intense manic happiness. On the other end of things, I sink down into equally severe but much shorter lasting depressions. And those for me feel like this intense emptiness. So all that intense manic energy is gone, and I'm left just feeling like the shell of a person. And so it was during one of those depressions that I had a suicide attempt and ended up in an inpatient treatment center in Tucson for a month. And that was really the first place I ever started working on figuring out what was going on. And that's the first place I ever learned about mental health. So when I came out and started trying to get my life back together, I started seeing my psychiatrist and my therapist. And it was then that my mom got involved with NAMI, and she did their family to family program, which is a 12-week course/support group for family members and loved ones. And it was really, really special for her to be able to learn how to be there for me. And it was so, so special for me to see someone that close to me really going out of their way to learn about what I was going through. And yeah, it was just really, really, really great for me to have someone learning how to support me. And then shortly after that, I did NAMI's peer-to-peer program, which is a similar program, but for people going through mental illness. And that was really, really incredible to meet with other people that were going through similar things and learn about coping skills and relapse prevention. And so much of what I learned there, I still practice today. But most of all, it was so good to be in a space where I didn't feel alone in what I was going through. And I was hearing from other people that had similar experiences. And it just made me feel so much better about what I was going through. NAMI has been such an amazing source of learning and support for me. I can't thank the organization enough. I have so much gratitude Today, I lead a full, healthy, stable life. I've rebuilt so much of what I thought I had lost, and not every day is easy, but I have the skills to get through those hard days. And I thank NAMI so much for that. I also now get to be involved through their In Our Own Voice program. So I get to go to public spaces like schools and churches and medical centers. And I get to share my story as a way to provide hope and also just have a conversation about mental health to try to erase that stigma. So the work that I get to do for NAMI is so special to me, and the work that everyone there is doing is so incredible. I can't thank NAMI enough for everything that they have given to me, and I'm so grateful to be part of this. So I thank you all for being here, and thank you again for letting me share. Yeah, I love NAMI, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Ariel. You're so courageous, a remarkable young woman. And I'm just going to say a chat that I just saw. You are a rock star. Next, we're going to be privileged to hear from Christy and Kim Davenport and they're going to be sharing their story about their son and their family experience.
Thank you for inviting us, NAMI. We're really excited to share our story. So a little background on Christy and Micelles' family. We have 3 kids. We have a daughter, 32, another daughter, 26, and our son. He's 21. He was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, bipolar type. He lives with us. He sees a psychiatrist regularly and faithfully takes his meds.
So he first started showing signs of his mental health condition right around 6th grade, and his symptoms eventually led him to being unable to complete high school. He's been hospitalized about 6 times, and several of those were for being suicidal. When he was around 18, he was at his absolute worst, and so were we. He was combative. He had started drinking. He had a really bad breakup with a girlfriend. He was kicking holes in our walls, and he had had several run-ins with the police.
So he spent 6 weeks combined total in Tucson and San Diego in programs that said they could help. Unfortunately, they weren't able to. He came home from San Diego, and we were truly at a loss. We felt alone, hopeless. Friends and family were supportive, but they just couldn't fully grasp what our lives were like. That's when Christy did a Google search, and that led us to NAMI.
So we attended our first support group meeting, and that's where we like to say we found our people. For the first time, we were with people that understood exactly what our lives were like, and that's because they were living a very similar one. In our support group, we could share our deep secrets, and no longer did we feel alone, and most importantly, we did not feel judged. And we learned the incredibly helpful phrase of never give up hope.
4 months after attending our first support group, we participated in NAMI's 12-week-long family-to-family class. Not only was it highly educational, but for us, it was truly life-changing. We learned some invaluable ways to communicate with our son and better understand the painful symptoms that he lives with.
We've been blessed with our longest stretch of stability with our son, and we do not take this for granted because we know with mental illness, this can change at any time. So we count our blessings each day that we're experiencing this stability. So today, a little bit about our son right now. He lives with us. He recently completed his GED. In December, he was engaged to his girlfriend. He's been attending welding school, and he's been able to communicate with us about his symptoms, and most importantly, when he's not feeling well. His stability has allowed Kim and I to now give back to NAMI. We've both been trained as support group facilitators and have substituted in our own support group for our wonderful leaders. We've both been trained to present the NAMI Basics class, which is a shorter version of the family to family class, and it's geared towards families who are dealing with a child with a mental health condition. And I recently started participating in a program called Ending the Silence that allows me to share my son's story to high school students and talk to them about erasing the stigma surrounding mental health and also suicide prevention.
So Christy and I want to thank NAMI for inviting us to share our story. They've made a major difference in our son's life and in our lives. And we hope to make some positive difference in other people's living with the same struggles that we have. And just ask that if you're capable of donating, please do, because it's going to go for a really important reason, and you can make a difference in people's lives like NAMI's made a difference in ours. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christy and Kim, for sharing your story and for being such an amazing family, and the way that you are supporting your son. Liz Rock, one of our board members, just chatted, "You are heroes," and you are. It's now my pleasure to introduce Congresswoman Ann Kirkpatrick, and we're going to hear you're going to view a brief video from her.
Hi, I'm Congresswoman Ann Kirkpatrick, and I'm pleased to support the National Alliance on Mental Illness, also known as NAMI. My son-in-law's sister, Liz Rock, serves on the NAMI Board of Directors for the Valley of the Sun, and my daughter participated in the NAMI walk last year. When I started out as a young attorney in Tucson, I was assigned all of the mental health cases, and I served on a state bar committee that rewrote the state laws on mental illness. When we were providing the Affordable Care Act, I advocated for the inclusion of mental health coverage in the Affordable Care Act. We didn't get it done at that time, but I continue to push for universal coverage for mental illness. Our mental health is just as important as our physical health. Please join me in signing the Stigma-Free Pledge. You can go to NAMI.org and sign up. I did. Please join me.
Thank you so much,
Congresswoman.
Thank you so much, Congressman Ann Kirkpatrick, for your remarks. Well said. Now, I believe that Christina Sabetta has an update for us on where we are with our donations.
Are you ready for this? We have raised $11,560. That means we did get our match pledge amount of $10,000.
Oh, woohoo, woohoo!
Thank you, everyone, for your contributions.
All right, folks, that is thrilling. That is just remarkable, and thank you, thank you, thank you. Keep it coming in. Keep it coming. All right. Our next speaker is Andrew Sperling, the Director of Legislative Affairs, Advocacy, and Public Policy for the National NAMI office. He's going to share important information on the national effort to support the mentally ill during COVID-19.
Thank you so much for having me. First, I want to thank the sponsors for everything you've done for NAMI, and especially thanks to all the donors. I've done lots of these NAMI, we have NAMI walks, NAMI fundraising events, and I've seen live in person events that didn't raise nearly the amount of money or have nearly the participants, over 100 people. So everyone should be congratulated. I want to thank Congressman Stanton. Ariel, what courage in telling your story. You're really a terrific part of NAMI, and really it takes enormous courage to do what you do, and we're really, really grateful for you. The Davenports, as NAMI's lobbyist, I do interact with the Congress and federal agencies. It really humbles me to think that when I do that, I'm doing that on behalf of families just like the Davenports all across America, and especially in Phoenix. Congresswoman Kirkpatrick, thank you as well. So we know that this current pandemic is placing enormous stress on the public mental health system in this country, and Maricopa County and the Phoenix area is no exception to that. We know that someone living with a disorder like schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, many people, particularly adults, live in congregate settings, or too many experience long-term chronic homelessness. And we know that it's very challenging for anyone to adhere to the recommendations and guidelines from the CDC on self-distancing, let alone self-isolation and even quarantine if you don't have decent, safe, affordable housing, or you have unstable housing, or you're living in a congregate facility where you're sharing bathrooms and common spaces with a lot of people. So we know that people living with mental illness are going to be more likely, many of them are at certainly elevated risk of contracting the virus. And on top of that, when they get it, we know that the prevalence, particularly for people that have been living with more serious disorders over a long period of time, we know that they smoke more than the general public. They have other types of medical comorbidities, and in particular, respiratory disorders like COPD and asthma and emphysema. They might have weaker immune systems, so that when they get this virus, they unfortunately are at elevated risk for worse health outcomes. So we have a lot of work to do in getting resources out to the public mental health system to protect the people living with mental illness that this system serves. And we also know that what may be coming months from now, and where we have hotspots of the outbreak of this virus, are frontline healthcare workers that have experienced trauma, and we need to beef up the mental health system for this, what could be coming months from now when we get through this, with people that experience anxiety and depressions and other symptoms of mental disorders. So we have an enormous challenges with the behavioral health system. We're working very, very hard to get Congress to understand this. I know we'll be very grateful to have the support for Congressman Stanton and Congresswoman Kirkpatrick in making this happen. So please go to the NAMI national website, sign up to get our policy alerts. And I just really want to thank everyone that was involved in this event. To pull this off in these current circumstances, and this virtually, was a huge accomplishment. So congratulations to everyone involved. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrew. We appreciate you participating. At this time, our virtual giving breakfast is coming to a close. And we want to say thanks to all of our presenters. All of our presenters, I think today, have just been fabulous, fabulous. Thank you so much. Also, a big thank you to our team who worked hard to put together our first big Zoom. We all learned an awful lot about this, and I'm looking down here and seeing 230 chats. Wow, you people really like chatting, don't you? It's great. I can't wait to watch this video afterwards and see all of your wonderful comments. We're so grateful for our generous sponsors, and I would like to mention them again. And I will tell you at this point that we had, going into this breakfast when we started this morning, $28,000 in sponsorships. So these are the people that we're recognizing, and it's worth hearing them again. Silver sponsors: Neurocrine Biosciences, Community Bridges. Bronze sponsors: Crisis Response Network, Janssen Neuroscience, Magellan Healthcare, Mercy Care, and Kent Butler. Virtual table sponsors: Care First Health Plan, Arizona, Community Connections Consulting, iTether, Resilient Health, Stephen and Kelly Lunam, UMB, Christine Pearson, and in memory of Mark and Carol Maley. On behalf of the Board of Directors of NAMI Valley in the Sun and all of our members, I want to thank each of you for being with us today and for the incredible number of generous donations that you have given to our cause. You are truly amazing, and we are over the moon about surpassing our goal of 10,000 and being able to add to that another 10,000. So our actual, what we budgeted for this year for this breakfast, was $20,000 more than we have achieved in previous years. And there were those who were saying, well, gee, do you think we can do that? And I said, you bet we can. We can do anything we set our minds to. I believed in it. I knew we could. And I just can't thank all of you enough, believe me. Also, at this point, I want to, on behalf of everyone, give a hug And a huge, huge thank you to Christina Sabetta for the superb work that she has done helping us put this breakfast on. We could not have done it without you, Christina.
You're welcome.
We will be able to achieve the goal of providing more support for the Phoenix Metro community during these challenging times. Thanks for helping us to help those in need. And as my sign behind me has said all morning long, there is hope. Have a wonderful day and stay well.
Well done, Christina, everybody. Lenore, terrific event, hugely successful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We feel the same way, but I tell you what, it's just everybody together, you know? Wonderful. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Many of you know my story. And you know why I work so hard for NAMI. Because we're able to help more people that really need that help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
Thank you for